most presentations fail before they even begin, and it's all because of one sentence. And unfortunately, a lot of people use it. That sentence: hello, my name is, and today I'm going to talk about. Now, it sounds very harmless because everyone almost uses it, but it's an actual presentation killer. And I'll show you 3 ways of how you can turn this into your advantage and actually start very strong and keep the audience glued to every word you say. And the reason for that is because the first 15 to 30 seconds is the most valuable real estate in your presentation. If you don't hook the audience and get their attention or their buy-in, you'll lose them throughout the presentation. And that's actually the moment when people, if you don't connect with them, that they'll start checking their phones, they have an email notification pop up, they start talking, and you sort of lose them mentally and they zone out. And that's what you want to avoid at all costs, because that's when the presentation sort of bombs and you don't communicate what you want to communicate, and it's very unimpactful. So why does this actually happen with this opening? Because a lot of people use it. What's wrong with it? Well, the problem is that opening, saying your name and what you're going to talk about, it's about you as a presenter. It's not about them as an audience. And we need to reframe that we put the attention towards the audience and make it valuable for them to be there and make it worth their time. Let's start with tip number 1, which is start with a powerful question. And that's because curiosity is way more powerful than just plain information. Now just imagine someone's talking about productivity, for example. He's giving a speech and he's starting the presentation with, today I'm going to talk about productivity. Now what if he turned it into a question instead, saying, what if you could stop every single workday at 3 p.m., not fall behind on your work, and have enough time for your kids? Would you like that? Now this is basically saying the same thing, but what he does is very interesting. Now there's a few reasons why this works a lot better. First of all, it's very easy for people to connect to, because everyone has their own story, their own lives, and we can all connect to it from our own perspective. Now secondly, it opens up a lot of questions and people are looking for answers because they want to know, okay, what should I do to finish every day? Yes, I've been working very long last week. What could I do to improve that? So people are looking for answers and they are waiting for you to explain it to them instead of you trying to convince the audience. And that is a very key point here. And this sort of opens up that silent promise to the audience that has them waiting for the answer that you're going to share. And that's what you want to achieve in your presentations. So you want to have it clear, you want to have it simple, and you want to have it audience focused. And a question is great to do this. Now, if you think questions are a very good opening, wait until you see what a powerful fact can do. And that brings us to tip number 2, which is a surprising fact or statement. And people really love to learn something new because that's what they come to a presentation for. They want to learn something. So instead of saying, let's say we talk about customer experience. Hello, today we're going to talk about customer experience. You could phrase it with a statistic instead. Did you know that 8 out of 10 customers are willing to pay more for better service only? And this instantly connects it to their own experiences, their own company, their own projects, whatever they have available. And maybe they realize they are leaving money on the table. So we want to open that loop again and make them interested, make them want to get the information from you. Now, to make this really powerful, you can focus on 3 things. You want to focus on money. That is always something, especially in the business context, that is very important and kind of grabs the attention. Secondly, you want to focus on time or urgency to make something very urgent. And third, you want to make some risk to it. You want to add some risk to it. So if they don't do it, what is the consequence? Do not do it. So facts can be super powerful and they sort of set the tone for your presentation. So you want to start with those strong things if you can. Of course, it has to be relevant. That speaks for itself. But most of the time you can find some sort of a statistic, some sort of an research that has been done that has a surprising outcome that you can add to your slides to open that curiosity loop and have them search for answers. And if you think facts are strong and questions, well, there's also a third trick that you can use in your presentations to start strong. And that is telling a story, because this can be super powerful. And that is because facts tell and stories sell. Stories are really what we are all about psychologically. We want to hear stories, we want to connect with those. And that really makes it sort of, we're able to internalize it better. And that's what we want to achieve. If we're talking about time management, for example, you don't want to start with, today I'm going to talk about time management. You want to tell a story. Maybe last week I was helping a manager and he was working 80 hours a week. He wasn't really getting all the work done and he was super stressed. Now, there was one thing that we figured out in his agenda that turned everything upside down. And that one thing, and then you start to continue with that. And these stories, they work because they are emotionally engaging. And when we sort of tease the audience a bit and have them waiting and wanting more, like what is it exactly that solved it? That's when they lean in. That's when we have their full attention and focus. And that's when we can present at our best and have the most impact in our presentations. Now, to have a story, you want to have like the 3-part problem. First, we want to have a hero of the story. We want to have one person that sort of goes through a transformation in the story that is in a very similar situation to us, so we can relate to it. And that character, that should have a challenge. So he should have a challenge, he should have to overcome something, he has a problem that is also very relatable and connected to the audience or the topic that you're talking about. That brings us to number 3, is you want to bring in the solution. You want to bring in how it solved it and what it did for him, how it changed him, how it impacted his life or professional life. So if you have this 3 part of a story, you'll be very powerful, and it doesn't have to be long. I mean, you don't have to talk 10 minutes, 5 minutes. You can do a very short story like 30 seconds or maybe minute max. So you don't have to do it very long or over the top. Start with a clean story at the beginning of your slides. Now, if you're presenting, you want to use the tools that you have available as good as you can. So now that we're talking about the message itself, we want to use our slides if we have the availability. We wanted to use it to support our message. And that's when PowerPoint or Canva or any presentation tool really jumps in and works its magic. So we want to have it supporting whatever we're saying. We want to animate things the way we do. And if you want to master this, I have a program available where I walk people through the exact things of how to become a professional slide designer that really makes your message stand out. Can be for any type of occasion, can be for a pitch deck, it can be for keynote slides, it can be for meeting presentations. You'll be able to communicate better with impact. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check the link in the description below. So the next time you're tempted to open your presentation with, hello, my name is, today I'm going to talk about, try to avoid that. Try to start with either a question, a statement, or a story that is connected to the audience and that really grabs their attention and pulls them in. And that is only becoming more and more important since our attention spans are shrinking. We read about it a lot, but we also get so many interruptions from our phones, from our mails, from our colleagues. So we want to make sure that we grab the attention, we keep the attention. And that short attention span is only 10 to 30 seconds in the beginning. So we want to make sure that we hook the audience there, because this is a graph that really shows the attention. And if you want to learn how to boost that attention throughout your presentation, I've made an entire video about that on my channel as well.